here's some advice. There's an article in New York Times Magazine, and you can get to this online. As a matter of fact, it's dated today. If you go to nytimes.com, if you don't have a subscription, I think you're entitled to 2 or 3 free articles. This is one you should read. And the title is, Why is Every Young Person in America Watching The Sopranos? I know what you're thinking. What? That show ended, years ago? I mean, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago? It is being rerun on HBO, and you can stream it just one after another episode. I've been watching it and realizing how many episodes I missed. Not missed watching. I think I missed every single one from the very first, where Tony Soprano is talking with Dr. Melfi. He just can't seem to, be happy. To the very end, where Carmela and Tony and AJ and, oh, Jesus, what's the daughter's name? Come on, Mike. They all get together for a meal at a diner, just an impromptu meal. And I remember thinking, after the show ended abruptly, if you remember, the screen went black and stayed black for about a minute, over a minute. I thought my television had gone dead, which is what a lot of people thought. But that was David Chase's way of ending his series, the producer, David Chase, and whose last name is not Chase. It's an Italian name, but he shortened it to David Chase. I think it's Ceserete or something like that. You knew that. I know you knew that. But when it ends abruptly, and then we realize that was the end of the series, period, that's it. I went back and looked at that last episode, and I realized that there's no debate what happened. Tony and his wife and 2 kids were shot dead in that diner. And the proof of that, David Chase, when he was questioned about that, he'll never say if that was how it ended. But he said anyone who's watched this series knows what the ending was. And I thought to myself, well, damn, I've watched every single episode. Now, this was 10 years ago when it stopped. I said, why do I have questions about how it ended? Then I went back and looked at that final episode. And there's a place where all 4 of them, when the daughter, what's her name, damn it? When the daughter comes in and they all sit down, and Tony had ordered a basket of onion rings for the family. And you see them sharing the onion rings, and obviously that is David Chase's way of showing them taking communion, not with a holy wafer, but with an onion ring, right before they're about to be executed. So I had no doubts after thinking about it for a while, what happened, how the series ended. Tony and his family were blown away. Well, now there's a new series coming out, Moltisanti of New Jersey. Is that it? Moltisanti, New Jersey, I think that's the name of it. And it's based on the character Christopher Moltisanti, which, many saints is what his last name means. Moltisantis of New Jersey or something. And it's about Christopher's dad, Christopher in the Sopranos series, well, his father, and Tony Soprano when he was a kid. Ironically, the part of Tony Soprano when he was a kid is being played by Tony Soprano's son. And I can't wait to see it. It's a prequel to The Sopranos, I think it's set in 1967. I think it's just a one-shot movie. It's not a series. So, reading why every young person in America is watching The Sopranos, I thought, yeah, why? Why is that? So I went and read the article, and that's what I want you to do. It's written by a guy named Willie Staley. He's the story editor at New York Times Magazine. But he explains how the new audience for The Sopranos is seeing something different in it from what I saw or my generation saw. And what these young people are seeing, and after reading the article, it comes clear, they're seeing a parable about a country, this country, in terminal decline. And it turns out, if you read the article, David Chase is in his 70s now, but Willie Staley, who wrote the piece, points out and uses example after example to show how David Chase was prescient in his in the episodes. The underlying theme that was never talked about, but it was there all the time. The fact that we had gotten to the point where we had amused ourselves to death, to coin a phrase, somebody else's phrase, to the point that even the mafia could no longer handle it. And it's worth a read. Please do it. Please do it. Why is every young person in America watching The Sopranos? Just go to nytimes.com, and the date is today, the 29th, for this article. You've got to read it. Promise Cousin Mike you'll read it, all right? But I read it and read the article and started having those revelatory flashes you get every once in a while. You know what I'm talking about? Where all of a sudden things that were maybe a little bit muddy or smoky or confused because you hadn't really thought about them, but all of a sudden in reading an article about something that you had witnessed or experienced or read or seen or whatever, all of a sudden it starts to come clear. All of a sudden the part that was confusing to you when you first experienced this event, whatever it was, in this case, it was a 7-year-long series, or 8-year-long series, The Sopranos, or was it 10 years long? Whatever it was. All of a sudden, I'm seeing it through new eyes after reading this article. And the fact that I'm rewatching every single episode now, I think they're only doing it on the weekends on HBO. The fact that I'm looking at every one of the episodes that I saw all those years ago, Meadow, that's his daughter's name, gives me an insight into what I missed the first time around and what David Chase, apparently David Chase was just a real cynic. He would be the kind of guy that I would model myself after, I guess. I know absolutely nothing about David Chase except the little bits and pieces I've read. And the fact that he was absolutely angry during the whole time that The Sopranos was filmed and televised. Chase was so pissed off about the reaction he was getting from the audience to whom he had targeted the series, The Sopranos, and how people were absolutely missing the point. And I put myself in that group. I absolutely missed the point of what David Chase was trying to say. And what he did say, I mean, he said it very clearly. It was I who missed the point, along with millions of other Americans. But do check it out, okay? Why is every young person in America watching The Sopranos? New York Times, September 29th. You can get it online. It's about maybe 15, 20-minute read. It's a lengthy piece, but it is absolutely worth the read. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.